Welcome to ter'angreal, the Wheel of Time showcast. I am your host, Joe Perry, here with my co-host, not Jen Isgro, but Tom Kokoza, and filling in for Jen, special guest co-host, Matt Hatch of the Dusty Wheel. I'll start with you, Tom. How you doing?
I'm doing well, Joe. Did I tell anybody about like my recent glasses purchase, like the ones that I'm wearing right now? I told you, I think, outside of life, but this is a sign.
Grab your seats, everybody.
It's a fascinating story.
Tom's telling a story about his glasses.
I just wanted to kind of call out that death comes for us all, Joe. I recently had to buy a pair of glasses, and they are bifocals. They're the transition ones. But like, I am now old enough now that I need glasses that allow me to read as well as see in the distance, and that makes me very, very sad. And I just wanted to share that with everyone.
Yeah, they tried to give me a pair of those. Yeah.
Well, it was like, you know, I had to hold the things out here. Now I couldn't fight it anymore. But other than that, I'm excited to be here. Let's fight back against the ravages of time together.
Sure. How you doing, Matt?
So let me tell you my story about my eyes. Since we're talking about eyes, So I'm nearsighted because we're talking about eyes right now. And to Tom's point, I've thought about getting LASIK, but I don't want to wear bifocals. And they told me if I just don't get LASIK and I just keep my nearsightedness, I probably won't need it for a long time. So I'm just gonna stay nearsighted. I'm gonna stay nearsighted for as long as possible, so I don't require a bifocal. That's my eye story.
I guess.
Joe, do you have a story about your eyes?
Sure. I did get LASIK surgery, Matt, so I don't wear glasses anymore.
Okay.
But I am starting to get to that point where like I can't hold things really close because I can't read them. But it's not like a normal book distance is still fine for me. But at some point, yes, I will have to wear glasses for reading.
Jed's gonna be like, actually, I'm glad I didn't miss. I'm glad I wasn't there.
Yeah,
I wasn't there.
Yeah. This is what you do when I'm gone. This is what you talk about.
Oh wow! But I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be here. So.
Yeah, we've got some news to talk about. We've got some TV shows, speculation or theorizing to talk about as well. Well, let's just get right into the news because, of course, Omar said, right? Omar was on last week and he said they were going to be dropping an article on Monday. They dropped an article on Monday. So now we're going to talk about it, right? They've identified two new cast members who are going to be in season 3. The first one is Frederick Wagner. I'm going to say Wagner because that's probably how he pronounces it, just from the look of him. To quote
the guess.
To quote the article, according to his CV, Wagner has been cast in a currently unspecified supporting role in The Wheel of Time. Thomas Napper is credited as director. Now, also, Geeky Airy shared that they found a video of him on Instagram in the process of taking a life cast while prepping for his role in Prague. So
what is a life cast?
Exactly what I asked in Discord, and people were kind enough to not make fun of me and explain that it's like a plaster cast of your body.
Ah, interesting.
I thought he was doing some sort of like biographical live stream. Seriously, I thought that's what it was.
But I was with you there.
Yeah, no, it's like it's a prosthetic. It's to make like a full body prosthetic.
Yeah, according to Wikipedia, life casting is regularly practiced in the special effects industry, where it is used in the creation of prosthetics, props, and animatronics.
Okay.
So
interesting.
Frederick Wagner, I mean, he hasn't been in anything that I know. He's been in some foreign language stuff. He is Swedish by birth, so he's a Swedish actor. He's got a pretty badass look to him. That's all I'll say about that. So I'm wondering I want to point out something else. I was doing a little snooping around, and somebody from the TV show follows him, and that person is Thomas Channing, who plays Lord Agelmar, or played Lord Agelmar. So
intriguing.
We could put that off to the side for a second, though. So I want to get both of your thoughts on who you think Frederick Wagner will be playing in season 3. This live cast gives us some clues, I think.
And then Thomas Napper reminds us that he's doing 3 and 4.
Yes, episodes 3 and 4 is Thomas Napper's area. So,
but a life cast, like that's it's not coming to me, Tom. You're my spirit animal, so I'm expecting you to get this one first. Life cast, what's coming to you?
All right, so my first instinct. I was like, my first instinct was like, oh, maybe it's for like a creature effects or whatever. But then thinking about it, it's more likely that he's probably going to die horrifically and his body is still going to be on set. So like they're going to have a full body prosthetic or portions of his body as prosthetic so they could, I don't know, put a hole into him or something to that effect, or hey, he loses an arm or whatever the case may be.
Well, they were doing his head. In the video, they were doing his head.
They're doing his head.
I don't know if they were just doing his head or they were doing each body part individually or what was going on there. So maybe he gets something in the head.
Yeah, maybe he gets... I
like Gabe's idea. Eaten by Grom. I like that.
His face was eaten by Grom. Maybe it's a decapitation. A decapitation potentially.
Yeah.
And that's the prosthetic head that gets chopped off.
Ooh.
But who would that
be? Okay. Let's catch me up. Catch me up for season 3, everybody. Okay. Like, give me quick summary. Where do we know that they're going?
All right, so we
out there. Yeah.
We know
it's the shadow. It's the shadow rising in general. Right? That's what we right. So pretty much
two rivers, San Chico, Aiel Waste, and the White Tower.
And the tower.
And the White Tower. Those are
White Tower.
We're gonna get a little bit of Camelin for sure.
Some Camelin. Yeah. What if he's like a warder?
Oh
yeah. Yeah,
like, that's the first thing that came to me. Yeah, like maybe
Tower
they go.
Like that.
Yeah. So warder.
Tom,
I like that.
You know who you want to?
I like that.
He's getting close to who I think you want him to be.
Really? I don't know. Like I was just like,
Joe makes fun of me.
Something here. Okay.
I always try and say that Hamar, the leader of the warder, like the head trained warder, is going to be on the show. I don't know why.
Okay. He keeps picking every actor to be Hamar. So.
I see. Sorry.
Yeah, here we go.
I just walked into this, but yes.
No, that's good. Okay. That's good. I like it. I like the vibe. It's going right. So let's do it.
I don't know why that's the only thing that came to me. Was like, it's like the lamest answer because it's like warder.
Well, we saw those set photos of what appeared to be the White Tower, and there were dead bodies and bloody kind of people there. So
no, when you say there's a set photo of the White Tower and dead bodies that I have not seen.
It was a leak.
Was it before? It might have came out before you took your hiatus, though, Matt.
Really?
I think remember.
I was disconnected, or I've just lost.
Maybe I don't know.
Look, I'm aging, and I clearly have. I clearly have forgotten everything before I went on my hiatus. So
it might have been in the beginning. Then it was a while ago that we got this. I think it was from Narg, to be honest, if I remember correctly, but.
By the way, what's Amy said? Does Matt know about the bonkers comments by Rafe? That kind of sounds familiar. Somebody saying, something about the season of bonkers. But what's the bonkers comment by Rafe?
The first 15 minutes about he's talking about the first 15 minutes of the show, like the opening sequence or whatever.
Okay,
about women absolutely shredding each other, and it was going to be bonkers or something like that.
Well, then now I feel like but women shredding each other. Okay.
So there's, I think, supposition is that's the Black Aja leaving the tower, just because he had mentioned in, I think, a different interview that someone asked what was Leandrin up to during episode 8 of season 2, and he said you'll find out right away in season 3.
Okay.
So, yes, those are two connections. We should have just did this whole episode of Catch Matt.
Yeah. You should have.
We're slipping it in.
I mean, I'll be honest. That is what's going to happen.
That's fine. So Tom always tries to get Hamar into the show. So I'm going to say that these prosthetics are being made because he might be one of the Finn or the Finn.
Oh, okay.
He's got like a slender body, right? He's kind of tall and slender. He could be maybe the snakes.
One of the Wow, I actually like that much better than Warder.
It's true.
I mean, I like the kind of out there ideas. So that's an out there idea that I love. And I would definitely, if there was a poll right now between Warder and one of the Finn, I would pick the one of the Finn. So,
yeah. I like it. He might
Let's
do
go
other.
Like I have literally no other idea other than Warder. I'm gonna steal your idea now, Joe. So it'll be my idea soon.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, he could be a like a gray man or something too. I don't know if they would prosthetic gray man up or they're just going to be played by.
Okay, I like the gray man. I feel like keep I'm
going.
just here to react against your awesome ideas.
Okay.
So keep going.
Right.
Well, the Finn and a gray man.
If you think all my ideas are awesome, maybe he's a white
so
cloak.
far.
A white
okay, that's a
cloak.
lame one. Okay,
That's
so yeah,
a
not
lame
as
one.
cool. Yeah,
Two
not
Rivers,
as good.
Two Rivers folk.
For a life cast.
Yeah.
Well, no, he's dead.
No.
He gets killed. He's going to get killed. We're going back to that dead body part.
Okay.
I think it could be like a
Dark
Trolloc ravaged Two Rivers folk, I guess. But
Sure. Yeah.
I like as we're getting crazier. I like that more too. Let's throw the Finn in every episode. Let's just put them in every episode.
Let's have everybody be...
It's like Hammer. It's like Hammer and the Finns.
Yeah.
Just put them in.
Hammer and the Finns. We've got a new rock band.
Exactly.
Hammer and the Finns.
Of the three, I like the Finns better, like the best. I think Gray Man's an interesting one. I don't know. No, I think of that poll, I'd still pick the... We need like some like live polling feature here. Can we throw that in there? Because I would pick the Finns right now out of those three options.
There's a way to make polls. I just don't know how to do it right now. Maybe Gabe will figure it out if he's bored.
Yeah, Gabe, figure it out, man.
All right, I want to go on to the next one. Oh yeah, by the way, I forgot about this. Right, I said he's followed by Thomas Channing. Now Thomas Channing is he Dutch, Danish? He's Danish, right?
Yeah, Danish.
So I don't know, maybe they know each other from another life, or do you think they know each other from the Wheel of Time?
I mean, you just said like Allie had met Guy Roberts before, so
Yes.
I'm gonna go with. I mean, sure. Obviously, there's a direct connection there, but is there a poll?
There's two
There's
now.
a poll up.
There's two
Yeah,
polls.
Kate, the first poll was better.
I'm voting on both polls here. Yeah. There we go. Vote, people. There's so many more. It's like 6 votes. Come on, there's like 13 of you or something watching this thing. So
there's like 250 people here listening. So,
oh, sorry. Yeah, 250.
So Thomas
Keep
Channing.
voting.
Do you think so does he know Thomas Channing from Wheel of Time? Is Lord Agelmar going to be in season 3? Let's just ask that question.
Oh, gotcha. Sorry, I didn't realize how subtle you were being there. That is, I know this doesn't sound weird. That is too far down like the speculation road for me as far as like that connection seems really tenuous. Like this is like beyond there being somebody standing next to Loyal near the gate in the image. This is beyond it. This is well beyond it. It's like if you saw somebody and you couldn't see something after that, I would say, yeah, that's kind of where this is at for me.
Did anyone ask Guy if Agelmar was dead?
No, that would have been a good question.
Yeah, I just thought of it now. Damn it.
No,
Let's
message somebody who's going to be at McCurryCon.
Message Rob and ask him at McCurryCon.
Look, by the way, Finn is winning. So,
well, yeah, everyone I think wants it to be the Finn.
But Skeeter said leave it to Matt to impose a dusty poll on another.
If we ask people, to put money on it, they probably wouldn't pick the Finn. They'd probably pick Water.
Yes, this isn't about money. This is about the fun of the answer.
Right.
Of the
That's exactly right. Who we want. All right. So the other actor, his name is Michael Lindahl. So he was, according to the article, was in Prague in late June of 2023 and again in October. They have reason to believe that he filmed on the Two Rivers set. He was spotted in photos with Marcus, Maya, and Aiel. And once again, I looked at his Instagram followers, and among them are friend of the show, Juliet Howland, Jay Duffy, Isabella Bucari, that's Aiel, Matt, Gary Beadle, who is Elias, Hamed, who is Loyal, and so that's all people who are going to be in the Two Rivers. But
I really appreciate it if the cast, if you're listening out there, it would really help us if you only liked and followed accounts that kind of fit within like who you're playing. Like White Cloaks follow White Cloaks. Two Rivers people follow Two Rivers people. Like that really helped us. like really be able to, because like you're just like mixing it up. You're like, it's a White Cloak and it's a Two Rivers and it's Aiel. Like it really makes it hard for us to kind of.
Well, Elias too.
Yes.
This sounds like Elias is going to be
throwing Elias in there
to the Two Rivers.
And this doesn't help us at all, is what I'm saying.
There's one more name in here that I have to tell you, and this is the only other person from the show, like an actor from the show, that follows Michael Lindahl. Karima McAdams, who is Lady Surath.
Okay, so yeah, now it's really messy.
Intriguing.
Yeah, the Shan too. So
Now that
Two
could
Rivers.
be from another, that could be from another lifetime. That just doesn't seem like it fits.
The Two Rivers. Shadow Rising, Two Rivers. Oh, do we know? I mean, I think Shadow Rising, you have a well, again, it's like is this like a Luke situation?
Luke.
I was like trying to think Shadow Rising.
Yeah. I think Slayer is going to be on the show. I do.
He is pretty dashing. He could play a Lord Luke, I think. He's definitely got the look for it.
But it's a short. I mean, you were saying Shadow Rising, and I was like, what are they just bringing another Two Rivers person? And then I was like, another White Cloak.
Could be.
But then I was like, Shadow Rising, what happens? And I was like, yeah, I don't know. Warder. I went from Warder and Luke. There we go. Now, Joe, give me your better answer.
Well, I had Luke Featherington cast as Luke just because they have the same name and he looks like Rand, Yosha.
So give me a better answer. Is what I'm saying. Like,
so then it's probably not a better answer in the sense of not as fun as yours. I was just going to say he's probably like a White Cloak.
I mean, I guess it's fine. Like, it's like, and I don't want the cast watching to be like, oh, they're so bummed about that thing that was cast as. Like, oh, a white cloak? Oh, just a White Cloak. That's fine. But yeah, like you're right. It could be just a Warder or a White Cloak, but it's like, yeah. Would they end up? I mean, so did Wasseries, like, how did they find out these? Like, is this like a CV thing? Do they have it listed in the article, like how they discovered?
Not
these?
for this one. Well, Wagner, it was on his CV, and then there was the the video.
So this one was just like in recent photos. Is that the idea?
Lindahl,
yeah.
Yeah, they don't say specifically how. I don't see anyone from. Oh, Gikieri's actually here listening, and I think this is.
Yeah, Gikieri, can you just tell us?
Sometimes she'll put in some information. Other times, she won't.
Yeah,
I know.
It looks like
doesn't hurt to ask, right? So.
It looks like it was a location plus photos thing, kind of gave a bunch of circumstantial evidence together. I don't know.
Okay, so Two Rivers, and like he was like hanging out in Prague around the time or something.
Oh, so. She's driving right now, so she can't type. Okay, I hope.
Shoot.
All right, maybe later.
Fine.
Maybe later. If you stick around, we might get some information. But yeah, I mean, at this point, it wasn't on the CV because I think they'll usually just put that in the article. I'm guessing it had to do with where he was, and then all of those photos or recent photos with them, and then all of the people he follows.
Yeah, he's an actor, and he's been in some pretty well-known shows here. An actor who's now in the photos with these. I mean, it makes sense, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it says he's his upcoming role in the 7th season of Outlander, Call a Midwife. I mean,
yeah,
those are two that I recognize as like obviously pretty popular.
Discovery of Witches. He was in a few episodes of that. Sex Education, which was a Netflix show. He was in an episode of that. So he's been in a bunch of like mainstream television.
I mean, who else? I mean, yeah, take outside, like, let's say you can't say generic something. Okay. So is there anybody else you would guess here?
No, I like your Luke. If Luke Featherston is not Lord Luke, I like this guy to be Luke.
I really do as well. I think like when you said it, I was like, oh man, that's great. Just his mustache made me think White Cloak, because he's got like a White Cloak mustache in the photo in the article.
Okay, yeah.
But I'm gonna throw out another one, even though I don't think he's gonna be on the show. Actually, I'm gonna throw out that he's Gaul.
Oh, hot take.
A Gaul.
Right? Here, and here's the reason, and why I think Luke and Gaul. This is just me being, again, this could just be like a great guy and everyone's friends with him, and he has like a small part in the show. But like the fact that like a lot of people who have big or bigger parts on the show follow and are friends with him on social media, gives weight to the fact that he's got like a part of some substance, that he's around more than a scene, in the background. So yeah, I think I'm going to throw that out there. I'm going to try will it to happen because Gall's one of my favorite characters.
He's likely to have some meaningful interactions with these characters that that the actors are playing. Okay. So yeah, I mean, I like Gall. I like that Tom. Well, sorry, Matt. I like Gall better than Luke.
That's fine. I liked Finn's better than my idea. Okay, we need a third idea so we can get another poll up.
We need to get another poll.
So yeah. So we have
there's White Cloak,
Luke, White Cloak, have Gall,
and White Cloak.
Okay, generic White Cloak.
Let's give him let's make him Buyer. Let's put him in there. Let's make him an actual White Cloak.
I don't think he's going to be. I don't think Buyer's going to be in it. So
I know, but I'm just saying.
That's not the point.
Oh, right.
Listen to Tom. That's not the point.
I'm not. Whoever's going to do it. Gabe, you want to do another poll?
Yeah. Is there a fourth option that we were considering here, or what?
A warder. There wouldn't be a warder in the
random townsfolk. Yes,
the Finn.
Random.
The Finn. Okay. He's a Finn. He put it in there. He put Finn. Oh, I love you, Gabe.
Okay. Let's see how this goes. What was our last vote here? Look, that's a huge number of votes to a Finn one, Mike. Yeah, that's 60 to 70%. That's pretty great.
73% wanted Finn. Ooh. All right. Gall's gaining. I think Lord Luke. Oh, wow. It's tied now.
Wow, it's tied. Okay. Come on, 12th vote here. Come on, 12th vote.
While that poll goes on, I want to talk about another piece of news that was released the other day. This was John from What Up released a video revealing 2 of the previously identified actors' roles for season 3. So these are 2 actors that I think What Series identified both of them a while back.
Before you mention these, can I just point out in that video at the very end?
Yeah.
I love John. He goes, and if you want to hear more of the word of What Up, I was like, the word of What Up. I was like, that is like the best. The word of What Up.
He needs to make a shirt out of that.
I gotta get that clip. I swear that's what he says. Like I was like pass on the word of What Up.
T-shirt. That's a T-shirt right there. We got to get that.
Oh
going.
My gosh! Oh man.
Good. John also. So John also tipped off that he was going to be releasing a video about one of our main topic for today, which kind of made me feel foolish because now we're going to talk about something and then he's going to release a video and make us look foolish with all our incorrectness.
He's wrong,
but he's probably wrong.
But no, well maybe he'll make us look like smart or something,
So it's true. So the polls tied. It was Lord Luke and Gall. So those were the 2. So I'd be happy with either of those. So
okay,
that's a good poll.
Oh, but yeah, let's talk up some What Up. Let's talk about the word of What Up.
Let's talk the word of What Up.
I want to shirt like I follow the word of What Up. Like that's the shirt I want to wear.
So 2 previous actors, Ferdinand McKay and Kieran Kabali Dwyer. These were announced a while ago. I believe What Series had posted about these 2 potential actors on the show. They are playing Elijah. Yeah, who's that? And Charlin. I think I know that person.
By the way, as John was talking, I think I was listening to it a little bit fast. I thought he said Charlotte, and I was like,
he might have.
Charlotte was in.
I don't recall that name.
I was like, Charlotte. Honestly, I didn't recall Charlin either. I was like, so it wasn't like it was like 1-to-1, like what I couldn't recall. But still, like I was like, oh, Charlin. It was funny. I said Charlin. I was like, that makes so much more sense, which doesn't make any more sense.
Yeah.
So
they are. They're 2 of the Das Shane Aiel from back when Rand has his flashbacks during the glass columns in Ruidian. Tom, I think you've talked about Charlin on the show recently, right? Charlin's one of the. Well, they both are the Aiel who go when Mierin, right? Remember Mierin, who we also have.
There we go.
We also have an actress for, by the way. That's Teresa Deskova is playing Mierin. So this is all coming together, people. It's all coming together. Okay. Mierin gets kidnapped, right? And then Charlin and Elijah and a few other of the
go after
them and wind up killing the bandits. And that's like the rift that forms between the Aiel and the Dashane, and they become, the Aiel we know today, and the Tinkers. So that's it. I mean, we're getting this scene for sure. I don't know what more to say. There's nothing to speculate about.
I saw when he like hearing him talk about that and like those names again. Like you get, as a Wheel of Time fan, at least for me, like that was what a cool part of the books, right? Mm-hmm. Shadow Rising. So I get like the chills a little bit thinking about like, can they pull this off, right? Like, is this going to approximate or be anywhere close or better than what my mind kind of imagined when I was reading the books, from this moment. So,
do you know who's writing this episode, Matt?
I don't know who's writing this episode.
We don't know.
We're pretty sure writing this episode.
Okay.
And Rafe's writing one episode this
and
season.
It's episode 4, I think.
Yeah.
Which so this is your belief is this?
Which lines up with the Ruidian flashbacks.
I literally need like a what we know. I have to go back and do one of the classic episodes we did, which is like all the information we know and try to pin it together in episodes. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So Rafe's writing this episode. Very, very, very likely Rafe's writing the episode with the
By the way,
flashbacks.
You pointed that out. What was the pointed aspect of pointing out that Rafe's writing it? Are you excited about Rafe writing it?
No, because you were talking about how you imagined it, and is it going to live up to how you pictured it in your head? And I wanted to just
connect these two things.
Yes. So
I think,
go ahead.
I think that what we have noticed before, right? I think that when race episodes are usually a lot of very short scenes, a lot of like intercuts back and forth, the episodes that he's written. And I think that might lend itself well to a series of like changing flashbacks. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like that might be something that fits into his time. And I think, I do think he also thinks this is the episode they have to get right. And normally in other seasons, he's really said like, what are the episodes that have to be nailed? I'm going to be the lead writer on that episode, right? Okay. For good or for ill, whatever people think. And I think that they're very cognizant that like they've said it in the first 2 seasons, right? The Aes Sedai are something that separates this series from other series. The Aiel, even though they're, like people who watch Dune or just watching the show might go like, hey, there's like a Fremini thing about them. Right. I think that's another differentiator for the series if you get it right. So, so I think that's those are the 2 things why I think we would highlight it.
So I just want to point out there's some conversation going on in chat that I want to point out, right? So some people were saying, oh, I thought that was Charn. So Charn is a different Dashane Aiel from the Age of Legends, not to be confused with Charlin or Charl. So that's Charn and Charlin.
Is Charn the grandson that sees like his grandfather? Like comes home and his grandfather's been hung, or is he the grandfather? I can't remember.
He worked for Mierin.
Oh, so he's the one who gets. He is hung. Yeah, okay.
He's the great grandfather of Kuman and the earliest known ancestor of Rand. So I guess he's the last. Okay. He's the final one that we see, I guess.
We're talking about Mierin today, also.
No.
Just passing.
Well, we will. We are. We're going to talk about Mierin. Let's move on, right? So we wanted to talk about Callandor and the Choedan Kal, right? We didn't get Callandor in season 2. Are we going to get it in season 3? And Choedan Kal, right? That's another big thing that happens at the end of the Shadow Rising. Now we've got these 2 powerful objects of the power that haven't appeared yet. Are these both going to be in the show, or are they going to cut one and say it's going to be too confusing to have 2 of these brought in at the same time?
I think the real question is like, whose throne will it be hidden under this time?
Good question. I'm going to say.
I think it's a good question. I think it's an excellent question. Like Camelin, we're going to Camelin, you said. So maybe
it's true.
There's going to be a throne in Ruidian. In Ruidian, there'll be a throne, and that's where
I think that would be kind of a cool like continuity thing where it's just like the thrones are where these objects of power are just hanging out. You just break open a throne each time. I think it could be good.
I'm all about that. I think that's a great idea. I'm on board for it. I've talked about that in the past.
That's a great idea.
Let's do it.
It's an idea.
I think you gotta. I mean, this is a perfect opportunity for Callandor, right? Not because you have to focus on it, but it certainly is something you can like tee up. So I like the idea of Callandor coming to play. I'm trying to think of like, have they set up Callandor at all? I'm trying to think of the first 2 seasons. Have we heard anything?
No,
like,
no.
Like
you saw this.
like.
I think you see the Stone of Tyr in the background of like the swan.
Is that the only reference to like Tyr, basically?
Yeah, okay. Yeah. It's like they don't even say what it is. It's just a big building in the distance.
You could get like you could get Callandor in Rodian.
Yeah, for sure.
Like they could, considering they moved one under a throne, they could move another into an ancient city. Where there are lots of objects of power, right? So, are we asking like, do we get both? Do we need one? Do we get like, should we have both? Like,
well, let's try this way. Like, okay, let's say they're only gonna give you one ter'angreal, in the course of the series. Like, there's not gonna be the Choedan Kal and Callandor. There's only gonna be one of them. How do you do that? Like, I don't like just for conversation, because I don't know. Like, I think. Is that the right thing to do? And if so, how would you do it?
So I just want to shout out Ray Richards in our Discord, because he's the one, he started this conversation in our Discord, and that's why we're doing this topic today, because we've been talking about it for the last week.
Nice.
I don't. If you're gonna do one, which one would you do? I would say Callandor, just because it I think plays a greater role in the story later on. And then like, what do you do then for, right? The Choeden Kal, the only real thing you need that for is for cleansing the taint, right? That's the only real.
By the way, what's our spoiler level here?
Full spoilers. We're full spoilers.
Okay. I couldn't remember.
Yeah. And you could drop something from the end of the series just cause.
And if you know anything we don't know about
Sorry,
it,
Mierin.
Lanfear still being alive or another.
Why would you ever imagine I would know anything that you don't know?
I don't know. Full spoilers.
You're an open book. You're an open book, Matt.
So the Choeden Kal, you only need for the cleansing, and I forget what it was. It might have been Aram in our Discord who said like, well, you don't need that. You can just have Rand and Nynaeve link using Callandor to do the cleansing, right? Because that obviously you can use that comes into play obviously at the end of the story. So, I like that idea. I was like, you know what? That's actually a good idea. I like that.
I mean, and Zool makes this point in chat, which is it would be sad, right, to have the sword, the sword and the stone, and Callandor we don't get in Tyr, of course. But but yeah, I would they really go to the nuance of Callandor? Like, I'm trying to think, like, how would you ever like take out everything you know about the Wheel of Time? Do you think a show could explain the nuance of Callandor in a way that would make sense to people?
They could, but they'd have to spend some time doing it, I think.
I don't know. Well, I'll say this. I don't know if the show is too interested in like getting into the nuances of things. Yeah. But I do think that the show has set up like the only way to really fix things is that everyone has to kind of work together on it. Like they have set that piece. They have set, I think, so far, they've set the end of the series up with the choices that they've made, right? Okay. Especially. So I think you can get to the point where like the secret reveal that it channels every power, and we can use this to heal the hole, like whatever. Yeah. I think they could do that, but I think when you get into like its flaw, like I don't know how much they're going to get into like.
What have they even said? What have they even said about like the boar? What have they talked about with like the taint, you know, like
well, they've talked about the corruption, right? They've talked about that.
Like it's been corrupted, but they haven't really talked too much. Have they talked about like
they say that
to seal the Dark One out again? Like, is there like even a concept of that in the show? I honestly can't remember.
Yes, Mierin talks about it at the end, right, of season 1. She talks about how the Dark One was imprisoned.
Does she? Okay, like I haven't watched the end of season 1, so it's like hard for me to remember what they've kept or what they've talked about.
Like they definitely in the 2 scenes with Luz Thera, in the season 1 scene, like he like clearly is going to go try and do something to the Dark One. That like
true, no, that's true.
They don't because like I think our Never reader friend Brendan thinks like, oh, he's gonna go try and kill him. That's what he's gonna go do. Like so, it's not clear what it is, but like, and then. When he's imprisoning Ishamael, like he's already imprisoned the other Forsaken, and he's about to go do something.
Clear, like, what does it even mean? Like,
well, but yes, what that is, and like that's already different. Why is he putting him inside of a? He's putting him inside of a seal. That's what it is. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
like, what does he do to the Dark?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, like the Dark One is like and something. Like the sealing away the Forsaken. Yeah, that
right.
It does make me. Yeah, I mean, because I think it does. By making those decisions, right, they would have to have something like the Choedan Kal and Callandor in mind of like what they would do with them. I would imagine, maybe not, but like they're funky decisions that I don't get. Like they're metaphysic like stuff with kind of the Forsaken and the Dark One and the corruption. I'm really trying to understand like what it means as far as what they plan to do with other things like Callandor and the Choedan Kal. Like it's because you don't need Choedan Kal. Like, let's be honest. Rand links with Nynaeve is going to work for 99% of the people out there. Like, they link and then but they don't need anything. Like, then they have some random sangreal, like whatever, and there's so much power. I mean, Rand already had like this huge song. Wasn't he holding a sangreal at the very end? And he broke open one of the seals, and Ishamael was freed, and it's like, okay, give him a sangreal and Nynaeve and they weave together, and they like, why do you need Callandor? Like, why do you need to introduce like a named object of the power? Like, I want it to be in there, but I'm wondering like, do they feel compelled to include it?
How do you conclude the series then with sealing away the Dark One? You just say it doesn't matter. He just blinks with the two of them, with Nynaeve and Mierin, and just does it. Like,
but I mean, have they gone down the nuance of metaphysics to explain any of this stuff? I mean, I feel like it's kind of been really high level.
No.
I think they will have to, though. I feel like you're gonna have to slowly learn, and maybe they've done a poor job of that so far. Like, slowly filling out like what happened, and then what like needs to happen. Like, all you know is that like people were sealed somehow by this guy, and then they escaped.
Well, I mean, right. I mean, I don't think I mean, in 2 seasons so far, it feels like, no, we're not going to, and they don't feel like they need to. And I don't know that they do for most people, right? Again, like even Wheel of Time metaphysics, I've said this before, like you can get a bunch of Wheel of Time fans that have read all the books or whatever, and you start talking metaphysics, people are like, I don't think it works that way. And you're like, no, but it really does work that way. And they're like, no, it doesn't. I mean, for goodness sakes, Brandon and I were arguing about the nature of Taviran, like live, right? And,
right.
And it was like after that conversation, I was like, dude, but it works this way. And he's like, I mean, I think you might be right from a book perspective or whatever. Like we were talking like, but I don't, it's like one of these things you think about the depth of metaphysics and is it something that they're trying to really kind of dig into? Is it really important to your average viewer who's just trying to enjoy the show? And that's the Choedan Kal is like such a, it's like a really cool world building piece. And it has like it's really interesting to us. It came into the books in an interesting way. And we were learning things about channeling and how you access, this power and why you would need this key to get access to it or whatever, because otherwise you might burn out. And it's like, okay, like that makes sense because we're in a very complicated metaphysics book. And so of course things that are in the book are complicated. So I do wonder. I wonder if we'll get something like it makes me want to say Callandor over Choedan Kal. Like I
wow,
feel
it sounded like you were going Choeden Kal over Callandor.
I know. I'm just saying in the moment I was like, you know what? Okay, I can see him like throwing a sword out there and like a cool ter'angreal, and it's like, and we don't know, and there's kind of like a little, trick at the end that no one knew about or something at the very end, and okay, cool. And people would go like, oh, okay, somehow that worked. So I guess I'm in the Callandor bucket. I just talked myself into the Callandor bucket.
Sure, the two. No convincing from me. Yeah. I mean, a lot of shows do that, right? There's always like, especially these types of shows, right? There's some sort of weird mystery of like, how are they gonna, win? And there's some sort of little mystery going on about something, and then they realize, they crack the code at the end and realize what they have to do to kill the unkillable.
I choose Callandor if they keep one of the two. If they picked one of the two, I would choose Callandor at this point.
Yeah, that should be a poll, Gabe. Throw up a poll there in Discord.
Come on, poll.
Callandor or Choedan Kal. You have to pick one.
But,
that's right.
Go ahead, Tom.
So I'm gonna throw this out there just as a thing. I think, because you made reference to it, I think if the Choedan Kal exist in the show, the access keys are the Choedan Kal. There's no giant statues.
Sure. You don't want to see all the people on Trummucking kill themselves or whatever?
No, I don't. But like, I wouldn't mind to see giant statues. Like, that's cool. But like, again, like, that's cool and is unnecessary, right? And it's just,
I thought they would have brought that in like last season, right? That would have been a time to bring, if you were going to bring in like a statue near Kyrian, it would have been like,
spend enough time.
And it involves Mierin, and Rand, together. It seems like season 2 would have been a perfect instance to like, what is that thing? And Rand somehow, you know what I mean? Like that scene just built itself into season 2, and they didn't use it.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to say like, okay, if you're not going to use that scene, maybe you've just decided to not use the Choedan Kal, because it's stupid to not have just like, it was a given. Like you'd already done all the Kyrian stuff. It's just there. So you would have used it if you were going to use it. So at this point, it seems to me like you've written off the Choedan Kal.
Well, it could be like Tom said. It's just the access keys are the Choedan Kal. Could be it. But you're right. Why would you do that? Like, what? Just put the statues in because they're big and they look really cool, right? For a TV show, like if you want to show and demonstrate that you're like a big time television show, you put a fucking giant statue in it that looks really cool.
Right, exactly.
So
right, you literally like Mierin could have just, that's where she took him when they left, right? And just have it be there, and that's why he's like
on the cliff side,
right?
Like it made itself, like you could watch those scenes and be like, it would have been in here. It would have been a natural thing to put. And at this point, you can't go down the road of like, well, they've never read the books. You know what I mean? That's stupid. So you're like, no, they know the scene's there. They know they have access to this moment in the books, and they didn't choose it. Whereas we haven't gone to Tyr. So it still feels like we can't say. So obviously, if they went to Tyr and Callandor wasn't there, it'd be fair to say, yeah, probably not going to get Callandor. Unless they find it under a throne somewhere. That's always possible. After season 1, you have to always believe it's possible.
It could be. I really did think watching, like while I was watching it, that they were going to pull something out of, because they made mention that Torok had a room full of curiosities, and I'm like, they're going to find another thing in there,
yeah.
I
was like,
Callandor is going to be whatever in there,
Yeah, I thought Matt might get his Ashandarai is going to be like, something's going to be in that room. He's just going to pull it out. Now I will say this, Matt, because we talked about this on the show. I'm not sure if you're aware.
Yeah.
They did cast an actress to play. There's a scene in The Shadow Rising, one of the early scenes, where the Aiel are charged with bringing all these objects of power to a place of safety, right? And it's like
flashback.
And
Age
there's
of Legends. This is right after
it's Age of Legends flashback.
Okay.
And that scene starts off with I can't remember who it is,
Celinda?
but the Aiel's come. Well, Celinda's the Aes Sedai, but right, the Aiel comes in and they're having a conversation about Callandor. right? And like basically like, hey, we're gonna put this in the eye of the world or whatever.
Okay.
Right. And they're kind of talking about that, and then he comes in and they're like, look, this is what we want you to do.
Wait, so hold on. That's in the books. Are you saying that's? But what is
I'm
the
saying?
Celinda
Celinda has been cast. That like we know that
you're not messing with me. You're not.
No, there's an actress that is that has on her CV or had on her CV that she's playing that part, and there's an actress, an older woman, who's also cast as Latra. While the original actress who played Latra is also in the series.
I thought you said Nakomi or something.
Oh no! So I think that we think that there's a possibility like that this lady is going to be like old Latra. It's going to be many years later, and that's going to show the passing of time. And
I really
so there is
stuff.
Okay. So I think with that, there's a possibility that that could start to give the audience some understanding of what this thing is, and even if it doesn't appear in this season, it gives you some like, well, what's that? Like that's a thing they talked about. Is that going to show up again? Kind of a vibe.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm going to say this, and this is to again anyone in the writers' room out there. Look, I'm always going to make fun of that throne scene, so like, it's always going to happen forever, like until I die. I'll be honest. So that was the craziest. That was the craziest freaking decision ever. So it's like the craziest idea, and so I just like there's something to always love and poke at that. So that'll just always happen. But I would like to note about that they did give us at least the horn the season before the season about the horn. So with you saying the Celinda thing and Callandor, it definitely could be. That makes it the most likely that they are going to give us some kind of reference, some mention of Callandor in some form or fashion. And then either we see it or we could see it in the next season, which would always make sense to me, right? This idea of we're going to the Aiel Waste and Two Rivers. Okay, where do you go after that? Right. So, and then you could potentially bring that in. So yeah, now I'm even more. Thank you for that piece of information. 100%. If you pick one of those two, definitely Callandor. And now that you brought up that scene, it sounds maybe likely that we're going to get a better thing than a throne scene. So that makes me happy. It just makes me happy.
Well, yeah, if they're going to have that scene where she's, right, so Linda's there with the other Aes Sedai, and they're giving all these objects of power to the Dashane and saying, go take these and protect them. We should probably see Callandor, right? And then as the flash, you're going to find out it's in Ruidian because that's where the Aiel went.
Or they lose it, and you don't know where it is, right? You can do either one,
and then it's not Ruidian,
right? And then you can tease, right? Instead of the Aiel attacking Carrion, they leave the waste and they attack Tyr,
right?
Yeah. Oh, and that's your season 4.
Yeah. No, I think that yes, I think it would make sense to not go back to Carrion, right? Definitely, Tyr would make the most sense. So I like this. I mean, I feel like, now I'm on board with this whole idea of Callandor actually being in the show, which makes me happy. I think that's a cool piece to come back to a little bit of the Dragon Reborn and then mix it back in afterwards, like book 5 and book 3, if you will, a bit, and mix those together.
Yeah. I can't see why now. I guess I'm sold on this. I don't know why would they even have the Choedan Kal. I guess now we have to talk about why would they add the Choedan Kal to this, because clearly they don't need it. They could just put Callandor.
Because John's video is going to be how the Choedan Kal are all over. Right, to scrap everything we said.
Yes. I'm telling you, he's going to make us sound like fools when his video comes out next week and basically contradicts everything we're talking about.
Well, we should just say everything possibility. So at one point we're correct, and we just delete the rest of the episode.
Okay. So Choedan Kal then. Matt, you were saying before it's just cooler, right? But we didn't get the big statues. But Tom, you said it could be just the actual access keys of the Choedan Kal. Bonuses of the Choedan Kal, right? You've got 2 of them, the male one and the female one. So that kind of adds some more of that, men and women need to work together dynamic. You have the Rand and Nynaeve cleansing,
but you kind of still get that both of these, right? You still get the men and women having to work together a bit, and
that's true.
Like, so, but you know what I'm saying is like, would you have it be like a duplicate kind of concept? You know,
would you make it a ter'angreal that both female and male channelers can use? Callandor.
So
would I?
No. Well, yeah. Would you, Matt? I'm asking you. Would you do this? If you had to cut Callandor, I'm sorry. If you had to cut the Choedan Kal from the show, would you leave Callandor as is, or would you say it's a ter'angreal that both male and female channelers can use?
Well, again, Age of Legends type stuff. The wheel. I mean, it can. I don't think it's necessarily like a limit that I think you could find ones that both of them could use in a. I think you could create a ter'angreal that potentially that does that, right? But a ter'angreal, I don't know.
No, forget about. Stop trying to pull the wheel time metaphysics into this, Matt. I'm talking from a TV show perspective.
I'm sure I can see them choosing to do this from a TV show perspective. Again, they buried the Horn of Valir under a throne. Anything's possible at this point with a ter'angreal. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, Matt made an Ascenderai too.
That's true.
That's true. Yeah.
Passes rope use check. I think if you want to say like, hey, what can you get out of the Choedan Kal that you can't get out of Callandor? There's two of them, so you can get, again, the show's fabricated storylines in each season so far. You can get Rand loses track of one of them for a season, and that's a thing. They're like something where it's like, hey, the Forsaken don't need to get both. If they get one, that's bad enough, kind of a vibe. Whereas Callandor, he's like, well, it's on me. Like, they're gonna have to kill me to get it, kind of a vibe. You could do like there's I guess just literally like chase element plot that you can get out of that if you needed with the Choedan Kal.
Mm-hmm. I'm annoyed that you're like pushing on the Choedan Kal, and because yes, they could definitely no they could
conversation.
No, Joe's pushing, not you, Tom. You have
okay.
I'm annoyed like because now I'm like, oh man.
Well, I thought we were trying to cover all the bases. That's why.
No, I'm saying like no, I'm because I was like, no, it's so easy to cut, and if they could totally include it, right? Like, because again, you have the Callandor and you have the Choedan. I mean, the books do it, right? So why wouldn't?
Like, well, I mean, Callandor disappears for both of them disappear for big chunks. No, but Callandor is gone for a long time, and then. But
you get the Shadow Rising mention, and then you get the Choedan Kal in Rhuidean, don't you? So
yeah,
so you get the key at least, right? So I think you could I mean, it sounds like we're getting the flashbacks, right? It sounds like we're getting Rhuidean. So. Yeah, when I said annoyed, I mean, I was like, shoot. Yeah, well, I'm dismissing it kind of quickly. And it's like, no, they could give us both and use it more from a power struggle kind of perspective of, right? Just like they do in the books, which is, as Rand gets stronger, you're going to want Forsaken are going to want protection of some sort, right? So you could kind of build in some of these pieces and they could introduce them both. And yeah, so maybe I'm dismissing them too quickly about kind of their choices for, ter'angreal and ter'angreal, and not going like complex. And they don't have to necessarily explain them to include them. So maybe I'm dismissing that too quickly. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like shoot, I guess I'm kind of jumping the gun on dismissing them. They definitely, a season 3 is where the, Shadow Rising, Dragon Reborn, you get the more complex ideas anyway. So yeah, I guess.
And we haven't heard anything about Callandor,
I'm conflicted.
Though. We haven't heard anything about Callandor. Like, if Callandor was going... Well, right, so Callandor is definitely not playing that role that this is the confirmation that he's the Dragon Reborn, right? Like, in the books, that's like it, right? He pulls Callandor from the Stone of Tyr, and that's basically like, okay, for everyone on the Westland side... That means he's the Dragon Reborn, and they changed that, right? Because I think it's season 2, they made it
it's declare himself at Falm, the dragon banner over his head.
That's the declaration. So that's a point in the column of Callandor ain't going to be in the show. They never even mentioned it.
But Celinda's a point in the column that
it could be.
It could be. Right.
Now, if it could be in the show in the role of like a combined role of the Choedan Kal and Callandor in the object of the power sense, like this is what it does. Well, let's strip all the pulling a sword
Choedan
out.
Callandor.
Choedan Calendar.
Choedan Callandor. Right? Let's skip the sword and the stone pulling of it. Although I think that would be really cool if they were able to do the sword and the stone. I think it's something people would connect with and be like, it would strike a chord, I think, with people. And being the declaration of the Dragon Reborn, they would probably strip all that from it and just be like, no, it's this really powerful object of power that's prophesized that he needs to use it, or I don't know. We haven't heard anything about it. Nobody mentioned it, like that the dragon has a connection.
Yeah, but they did mention it. They mention it when they need to mention it, right? Like, there's prophecies. There's prophecies of the dragon. You know that.
But I feel
exists.
like he's been exposed to a lot more in season 2, where like he's been in Cairhien and he's been doing some research. At least. Yeah,
but I feel like even in the books, you find out there's prophecies of the dragon, you find them out in book 10 and 11 that are important that you don't know about until then. He goes to meet the Borderlanders, and there's this prophecy that
it's a Borderlander prophecy, though.
Right, whatever. There's things that are important that they bring up when it's important for him to know.
Yeah,
I think that I do want to, because someone put up in our Discord. I think this was a good point. Aram or however you pronounce that character's name, Aram in our Discord said he thinks it's important for both to be in the series, that they serve different tasks, that the Choedan Kal is in a way that Callandor isn't, right? Because Callandor has limits, and that's part of what makes it frustrating to use. Choedan Kal is unlimited power, and it really
Choedan Kal is limited. It's
unlimited. It's really, he literally feels he could crack the world in half with it.
That's true. Yes.
Right. And he has to learn that is it's not just to be the strongest. That's not how he's going to
he could learn
fix
that
it.
with Callandor, though, especially because he does.
He could, but I guess that's the thing. Callandor is, its flaw is its actually its purpose, right?
Well, there's no buffer either,
right?
So you can literally, it's dangerous because you can kill yourself. You can burn yourself out, just like yourself. Those channelers did in the end of season 1.
Yeah,
and Nynaeve.
But I think, his point, and I think it's a good point, is the fact that a lesson that Rand has to learn on his journey is the fact that he can't just overpower every problem, which is something that as he gets darker and darker, he tries to do more and more, right? Just use who he is and what he is to get what he wants, as opposed to working with people and being the first among equals, which is what he's supposed to be, right? That's sort of a vibe.
Yeah, I mean,
so I think there's narrative purposes that you could use for both, and I don't think the show is necessarily cut them off, even if it hasn't explained any of them yet.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I like the themes you mentioned before about having the 2 separate items, the Choedan Kal, right? That, you're laying that in there. It obviously lays the groundwork for, the Aes Sedai and the Age of Legends working together and creating these beautiful things. You can connect that to that easily. And then foreshadowing that Rand is going to eventually have to trust somebody. He's going to have to give that other Choedan Kal statue to somebody to help him out at some point in the show. And can he trust anybody to do that? So I like that. I like using it as a tool for that.
I would be bummed if they kept the Choedan Kal and didn't, it's just a weird thing to not give us a Cairhien scene. All he has to be is up on the mountain and just sense something. I can't get over it. I can't get over just the
Why
absence
wasn't there a big
of
statue?
No, it's just Mierin, Rand, he's learning how to channel. She's freaking out. That would have absolutely 100% worked in line with the entire story that they told about it. And it's just a weird choice to leave it out and then bring it back later, but whatever.
They could have just had the crystal poking out from near the cabin. They're on top of a mountain. Yeah. Just have the whole thing be buried.
Yeah.
I know. I don't get it. But so they didn't choose that, whatever. They should still, I guess I won't say they can't not bring it back in. I would be annoyed because I'd be like, why did you lose a great opportunity for kind of foreshadowing this stuff later? Mm-hmm. Just drop this in, give us an idea that there's this kind of, capability of power, access that's well beyond, but you don't have to like go and describe it. Just having Rand barely touch it and having him even like make the comment that this is like, the sun as opposed to a star or something, as what the ter'angreal he was holding with the Shamael, whatever. You can just like make this idea of like, oh, there's this really powerful thing, and
Matt,
having
the sun is a
freak
star.
out.
Just wanted to let you know.
Yes, good point. Yes, thank you.
Just wanted to interrupt you there.
And amount of light of it, not for its actual what it is, but thank you.
Yeah, so those are like, so we've got things on both sides with Callandor and the Choedan Kal that they clearly had opportunities in earlier seasons to start planting those seeds, and they didn't at all. Right? There's been no mention of it. Any opportunity that they did have to put it in there, they did not. And I guess I get it. They don't want to start. They don't want to put too many Easter egg type things that people are going to have to learn later because they're all over the place. Or, what are the odds that neither of them are in the show?
I mean, when you say neither of them, you mean like if this show goes 8 seasons, what are the odds that they would have never include either? Or like if we only get 3 seasons, what are the odds or something?
No, if it's a full run of the show and we get our full run, like what are the chances of that neither?
No, I would think that they would. I mean, again, it's some of these interesting stories of like, and myths and legends that you work in. I mean, it's part of this. Like, I think, you can talk about it as far as like the age that came before, or kind of mixing in some of the, rationale that Jordan pulled it in. I think it makes for an interesting story. So it'd be like weird to kind of take out everything for the same reason. I'm just like, you say Finn and I'm like, yes, Finns. Like that is the best answer. It must yes, that's right. Correct. We have to have that answer. Yeah. In the same way, you're like, no, you need some of these pieces to make this world and this place something so distinct and interesting. Mm-hmm. And so, yes, I think they would be. I think if this went 8 seasons, at least one of those two would show up in the show. I do believe that.
I think so too. I think I think the chances are 0 that we get neither of these.
Yeah.
So let's assume, right? We already talked about like, let's assume they're only going to have one of these, right? I think 2 is asking a lot. I mean, they might. That'd be great if they had both of them, but let's just say they only had one of these. Does that mean that they're going to cut some of the events that happen that with these items? So like if they cut the Choedan Kal, does that mean they're cutting Rand and Nynaeve cleansing the taint together? No. If they cut Callandor, does that mean that we're not getting, the end with, how Rand defeats the Dark One, spoiler alert. Or do you think if they do cut one, they'll just kind of either work it in with the other one? So if they cut Callandor, they can work in the Callandor stuff in the Choedan Kal, etc.
Choedan Kal is easier to cut.
It is.
So I think it's easier one to cut, and they can have both, but that's the easiest one of the 2 to cut. So, and again, you can pull Callandor in to get you to tier plus. I mean, you can do a variety of things with Callandor. You don't have to. I mean, you can even use Callandor. Like, again, they can use this kind of flaw concept, but they don't have to like point it out initially or whatever it is. Like, you can kind of be like, oh, and there's this other thing. You cut the Choedan Kal, and that's what they do. I would not be surprised at all, nor disappointed if they had to cut one of them. They cut Choedan Kal and gave us Callandor.
Yeah. So Geeky Ari asked a great question in chat. What if Callandor is used as the male Choedan Kal level item and something else as the female one?
Ooh.
Okay. Yeah.
Ooh. Interesting. Like something new or something that's in the series that we're going to repurpose.
No.
I can see them doing it. So, like Geeky Air said, laugh out loud. Matt hates it. It's not that I hate it. It's anytime you make a change concept, it's like, just stick with what was there. And then I have to kind of be like, okay, if they did that, sure, that would work. Look, a season two did convince me that if this is how I feel, if someone just if Tom had been like, Matt, I have this great idea for season 2. And he had charted out everything they had chosen for season 2. I'd have been like, Tom, how about they just don't make up stuff and just go with whatever's in the books? But having seen season 2, I was like, okay, some of that stuff was pretty cool. And while I still kind of was like, yeah, I would prefer the books, I think they can make things work in a way that's compelling television and is compelling kind of world of the Wheel of Time, if you will. So I enjoyed season 2. So I figured they, like, to Geeky Harry's idea, yes, I bet you they could make that work in a way that's compelling. And you again kind of isolate it a little bit. This is this is the Choedan Kal, maybe it's a female thing, for the female channelers, and I think they could do that, but why?
Why?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's not like they've done anything like that. It's not like they haven't done something like that before where you were like, why did they do that? Why did you, like you said, why didn't you just do it was in the books? That made sense.
By the way, it's always awesome to have friends in chat. Friends like fellow innkeepers.
What is Anna saying in there?
He said, Matt, I'm not a book cloak hatch. That was very nice of you, honest. Look, it's a good thing he missed all the comments about the throne at the beginning, right? I don't know if he was around for those.
I don't think he was. I didn't see him, but
it was a great choice. It was just such. Who would have thought to look? Yeah, I think to your question, Joe, right? I think
I don't even remember what my question was.
Well, yeah, I vaguely remember. I remember what my answer was going to be, so I'm going to reverse engineer your question.
Was I talking about I was saying
if they only pick one, what do they cut?
No, it was Geeky Harry's question, not mine.
Yeah. Oh yeah, about the yeah. I think you could do that. I think you could, like, whether you say like, okay, there's a Choeden Kal for the ladies and a Callandor for the
ladies.
And Callandor for the fellas.
A Choeden Kal for the ladies is the first album from the who is it?
From Hammer and the Fins.
Hammer and the Fins.
Hammer and the Fins.
Hammer and the Fins' first album, A Choeden Kal for the ladies.
This is man. I think
Jen is missing a classic right
yes,
here. Man.
I think for next What Idol we're gonna have like a fake commercial for you.
Oh my gosh, this would fit in perfectly.
All right. Oh, Voris Sangra. Yeah, that could be the female. That could be the female version. Okay. That comes into play later. Then I guess it wouldn't melt though, right? Nynaeve melts the access key, or she doesn't melt it, but the female access key gets melted when they cleanse the taint, right?
Right.
And then Rand destroys the male one. Was it
on Dragonmount?
Is it
on Dragonmount?
Part of Veins of Gold, right?
Yeah. Because he's going up there to not destroy it.
Pull another loose Theron.
I've been gone so long that I was like, you guys said those, and I was like, that's true. That happened.
That's all book stuff, man. We just make that up.
Again, I specialized a long time ago.
I know.
It's like most of the stuff. That wasn't that important. Books. But Landfear is important.
That's it.
Yeah. I mean, we're going back. I mean, I'll ask the question since you're here, Matt. Right? We're doing these flashbacks to Age of Legends stuff during the Rand's glass column scene. Like, I guess 2 questions. One, are we still going to get an Age of Legends cold open? Right? Because we're probably getting an Age of Legends flashbacks in that scene, or maybe that is a cold open. Who knows? And do we get Landfear in those flashbacks or one of those flashbacks? Mierin.
Yes, you should. Right? Like if they didn't, it would be, I think, a lost opportunity. But they didn't do like some stuff in season 2 that I thought they were going to do. Like season 2, I thought it was lost opportunity not to do the Ishamael Rand, Luce Theron scene, like from the prologue. Like I think there was, you should have done that, and they didn't do that. And so it's like, okay, will they give us a scene going back, like some kind of cold open scene like that, or will they take us all the way back? So yeah, I think showing the Forsaken in before all this went down is a cool concept. So
you could still do the prologue scene in this season because then it keeps it chronological, right? You get in season 1, you get before the strike at Shao Ghul. Season 2 is basically the results of the strike at Shao Ghul, and then season 3 could do the aftermath with Rand.
Yeah, so then
going
you're
insane.
Right. Then it would fit in this season. I agree. But yes, I guess
you're gonna have to put that in there. You're gonna have to put in the backlash. I think you're gonna have to put it in the show. That's a huge thing they've already established with the taint. So.
I've been on this since the get-go. I don't think you see Dragonmount until the cold open for when they do Veins of Gold. When they do that chapter of the books, like that's when you get the cold open is Lews Therin killing himself on Dragonmount, and then the end of that episode is Brand on Dragonmount.
That's such like a that just hangs over Rand though through the whole series about like the Lews Therin like.
Yeah, I mean, and he saw the
family.
He saw Dragonmount and had a flashback of I guess killing himself and making it or something in season 1, right? When he first sees Dragonmount, he's like, "I've seen that before. It seems familiar." I don't know.
Yeah.
But
I guess we're always gonna be talking. It's always gonna be one of those things where it's like until we see the prologue scene, we're gonna be like, okay. It could totally work in this season. Like,
do you think if they do a flashback in the columns, do they actually show Mierin drilling the bore? Like have that. Like if that addresses like they haven't gotten into this really at all. They're gonna go back to like instead of seeing it from the street level,
like actually see it.
And then like the what's it called? Shatters the core, this whatever it's called.
Callandor, right?
It's the sphere, the Sharon, or whatever.
Yeah.
Shattering. That would be cool. I mean, it changes this. I mean, it changes the actual story, right? Because that.
Well, even if it's like if it starts off like
flashbacks don't go that far back, right? They go back.
Yeah, it starts the day, right? It starts the day. I think the furthest it goes is like when that happens.
Again. But yeah, don't they go back to
it goes back to that day
of the bore. Oh yeah. Oh, that's where Charn, that guy is.
Yeah, Charn.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think, I mean, and your question is, do they show us even more? I mean,
like take your opportunity to go back here and have someone explain what she's doing before she does it, or have her in there talking to him.
Yeah, that would be really fucking cool if they did that.
Yeah, it's like it is making like because we don't have the exact thing, right? So it would be similar to kind of other things where it's like making up what that scene would have looked like. I mean, again, you're asking the person is going to answer like a cool scene with Lanfear in it. Yes,
it's a loaded question.
It's like a loaded question because it's like, would you like them to follow the books or have a cool scene with Lanfear? It's a hard question for me.
Yeah,
sorry. I'm sorry to put your.
It would still follow the books. You're just adding a different perspective from a scene that happens in the books, like elsewhere. Right. While this is happening, this other thing is happening.
Well, but my preference for Lanfear in this season, because that's what you're really asking me, so I'll tell you. No,
Mierin. I'm talking about Mierin, not Lanfear.
I know Mierin. No, so I think they should. I mean, Shadow Rising Mierin, I think, does belong, and that would be weird to have succeeded so well in season 2 with Lanfear.
Mm-hmm.
Like it seems an obvious. Like even if they weren't planning on that, I would imagine they then were because it was such a popular character.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Like the amount of people that became Lanfear stans after season 2 was just incredible among book fans who weren't, and then like people just watching the show. So I would be like, yeah, they probably would find every scene with Lanfear in the Shadow Rising and be like, okay, how do we do this? How do we make this interesting? So yeah, I'm game for them giving us Shadow Rising Mierin. Absolutely.
I feel like the show, the bad guys, quote unquote, are much more likable characters than the good guys are.
Yeah.
I feel like we're running into that, like with Lanfear, with Kate Fleet, Leandrin. I'm trying to think of
I think that Mogedian's not going to have much likable about her.
No, there are going to be. Yeah, I mean, Eamon Valda
Right.
is, while he's you hate him, but you kind of like to hate him because he's such a despicable character. But I think Abdul Solis is killing it.
I actually disagree, Tom. I think you look at Mogedian and you're like, I mean, just look at the end of season 2.
No, you're
all of a sudden I was like, okay, whatever this character does, I'm gonna be kind of a fan of it.
True. That's true.
So they're, oh man, no, you're right. I think this is it's definitely more so than I thought it was going to turn into. It's turned into a villain's kind of show.
Dana was awesome in season 1.
You know, it wouldn't surprise me if it wouldn't surprise me if in the end of season 3 we were like, okay, the villains were really cool. You know,
yeah. Well, yeah. I'm gonna rephrase what I was gonna say, because I want to say it this way. I think that you feel empathy for Lanfear and for Ishamael. Yeah, I think you do. Like, you feel like when she talks about like how like she was loved and spurned and like that's like, sure, she might be crazy, but that's a real feeling from her, and like you feel like she
has feelings that makes her
it makes her something that you can feel for her. Yes, I think that you do. I think that when at the end of the season, when she's like, "Light help you, Randall Thor," you're like, "But she means that." Like, that's not, that's not her being blasphemous. That's her feeling like, "I like this guy, and he's screwed now."
This is true about Jordan in the same way you're saying this.
Yeah,
he was able to make us like characters who had done terrible things in the past. You're just like, it's like, yes, later on in the season you forget like, oh, she just snapped her finger and like blew off the guy's head. You know what I mean? Like you're like, she's so empathetic, and all you have to do is be like, except for that part where she just totally murdered that one person. Like, that wasn't, I didn't feel anything for her at that moment, but
when that guy exploded.
Sure, she burns down the foregate by herself. Whatever, that's fine.
Yeah.
A lot of those people were jerks. But I think that I don't think that they're going to try and get you to empathize with Mogedian. I think that she's going to be cool and creepy, but I don't think you're going to be like, oh, well, all she wanted to be was an investment banker or whatever her job was, right? Like, she was a financial planner. She's a financial planner.
Now you sound like that episode of Seinfeld where Newman is trying to get out of the ticket. He's saying he was rushing to help Kramer, who was supposedly going to kill himself because all he wanted to be was like a banker, and he couldn't be a banker. He's telling this ridiculous story to the judge.
Wow.
Look up.
Yes, I think you're right, Tom, that yes, a different kind of likable or a different kind of like, I agree. I mean, Ishamael's the same way. Lanfear, Ishamael, Mogedian, they're going to be different. I just think that they've made them compelling. And so you definitely are. Mogedian's a compelling character already. Their villains are extremely compelling. And it somewhat is, almost it overshadows some of our protagonists. You're like, not as compelling as the villains at this point, Right. I'm thinking of the part where like pushing the bolt through the leg. Not as compelling of a scene as, snapping someone's head off.
No.
So I think it is an interesting question if season 3 pulled that off again. We're all at the end of season 3, like, I wish Jordan had, given us a little bit more, because this is fun.
Right. People are like, more Asmodean, please.
Right.
All right. I'll bring up one other quick object of the power before we wrap this up. Okay. Right. We were talking last week about Jean, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago, about Jean, who's being cast. Jean Cade is one of the the Black sisters who leaves the tower with Leandrin. She's part of Leandrin's cabal, and she has that ter'angreal, the black rod ter'angreal that shoots balefire. Right, that's plays a part at the end. In Tanchico, she's trying to attack Nynaeve with it. Balefire ter'angreal. Are we getting that in season 3?
Ooh, I mean, so they've named this character already? Like, we know that we have this character?
Yep, Jean.
Okay.
The character listed as Jean.
Jane?
Gianni, however you want to pronounce it.
I mean,
Sean.
have they mentioned Balefire yet?
No.
Okay. I mean, again, it's like one of these things, like, it's a cool part of the books. You hope that they adapt it in.
Like
I've
that,
never like
Balefire is, I feel like that's like one of those things where it's like, okay, we're going to add this whole other element to this now. Just, trust me, like, we can send magic spells back in time. Like,
it's like, it is the world. Like,
I know. But like you were saying before, in a book that has this metaphysical underpinning, dive deep into the metaphysics, man. Like, go. You have the space and the time and the setup. In a show that hasn't yet done that, like, I mean, whatever. In one way, you could go Balefire. No one uses it because it burns your thread back in time. Like, and that's it. That's all you need. Like,
I was thinking, like, we get multiverse and time travel and other sci-fi stuff, so maybe it's not as difficult as a concept of other things. It's not like
crazy time travel. It's just like we're going back a little bit, and that person doesn't exist anymore.
I think yes. If you had to pick Callandor, Choedan Kal, or Balefire, I would pick Balefire. 3.
Okay,
like, it's a like, it is.
It's the coolest. It's the coolest.
Mechanic.
Yeah, I think it's the coolest mechanic of those 3, and yes, I would pick Balefire over. So, what does that mean? Again,
nothing.
I hate to bring us back to this, but throne, horn, who knows? So. Yeah, Balefire.
Yeah, Balefire will get
Balefire is pretty pivotal. Oh yeah, good point.
Okay,
so.
if the Balefire rod exists, is that the first time you see Balefire on the show, or does someone use it before in season 3 and then where?
Maybe that's the first time it's used, and then because like Nynaeve sees it being used, she then can figure out the weave herself. I mean, Mierin uses Balefire obviously before that,
right?
But we got rid of Balal. Balal's not going to be in the show, and
he was Balefire out of the series.
We haven't seen Darkhounds yet. So I think we'll get Balefire, and we'll get one of these items.
I mean, this is a good point, because maybe that we do get ter'angreal, and if we get ter'angreal, maybe we see season 3 being this kind of time where they really. The books do this, right? Kind of stay high level and go deeper and deeper and deeper as we go. So maybe season 3, they're going to surprise us, and they're going to dig into some of these things.
Yeah,
because you bring up Balefire now, and I'm like started thinking about like, okay, Shadow Rising and the Aiel Waste, and there's like a whole ton of when you think of ter'angreal and all sorts of stuff that happens. So maybe this is the moment where. Yeah, I mean, and this is the thing they've been building to, right? Like, I thought Rafe had said, like, we're building towards the Shadow Rising, like season 3, this idea of like, it's going to be the thing. Like, here's the moment. All the choices we've made have kind of built up to this moment where we can kind of reconnect into the books and get people to where we wanted them to be, and et cetera. So maybe they've actually kept some of this stuff, and like are actually building in some of these mechanisms. They think their audience is smart enough to kind of understand this new world that they brought them into by season 3. So that's my hope. And all of a sudden you brought up Balefire. I'm like, yeah, well, screw it. Like, we've got to have some of these things in here. We can't just go none of them. So Balefire and Callandor and Choedan Kal, I'm on board. We have to have all 3. They better give them to us this season.
Well, there's another ter'angreal I'm going to bring up right now that I didn't plan on talking about, but you were just talking about all these new ter'angreal that we find in Shadow Rising. And there's one we didn't talk about yet, although we did talk about the fins, and that's the redstone doorframe ter'angreals.
Oh man, we're growing afield. All right.
So now we're talking about three important ter'angreals that's
not even the ter'angreal that I thought you were going to bring up.
Oh, what did you
the sand bracelets? The sand bracelets are also in this book.
Oh, that's true. That's what they're looking for. So four ter'angreals or objects of the power. We can throw the sand bracelets in there too. I think they have to keep those in because
I do too.
The domination bands are so cool later on.
Yeah.
This is why the Choedan Kal and the statue should have shown up in season 2. Because now you're messing with all these. Yeah, like we need the fins. We need the sad bracelets. We need Balefire. We need at least references to Callandor and references to Choedan Kal. And I think you can do it. It's just how much are they going to hew to the books, right? Like that's yes, I hope that they've included all those pieces.
There's another one too. So people are putting in chat the redstone, not the redstone, the stone ring ter'angreal, dream ter'angreal. Of
course, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Put it all
in. This is like, well, this is like dreaming, right? You have the Aiel wise ones, yeah.
So I do think they're going to go deeper into that. I think you saw dreams in season 1. They introduced ter'angreal in season 2. I do think in season 3 you're going to start to learn about it through the wise ones. But yeah, the stone ring. Oh man.
Yep, twisted stone.
How many episodes are we getting?
I have to tell you, I've said it to Joe and Jen before. I don't know what Egwene's storyline in season 3 is going to be, because the girls are going back to the tower. Is she going to the waste? I don't know what.
Right.
Like we didn't know what Matt's storyline was going to be. Turns out
it wasn't really
not much
storyline,
but like, I don't know what her. Like, she's going to be all over the place.
I want Luckbender. You know.
Yes.
Can we just get the Luckbender? But like,
yeah, I think we'll get that. I think we're going to get that in this season. We're going to get.
I think Matt's going to be Matt in this. In
after he goes through the twisted stone door frame and sees the fin. That's my predictions.
I don't know.
This is the perfect season where 10 episodes actually would have been like so meaningful. Like this is the season. Like. Like it would have made sense. Like the Shadow Rising is an easy 10 episode kind of to fit it all in and like make it all make sense and to again bring in all the cool aspects of the world that we have, like the really interesting, compelling stuff, and still give us, get us down the road. I know we're
a lot
like,
to fit
that's
in.
always like a pipe dream, but yeah, man.
It's a lot of
you're like, can we talk about Callandor and Choedan Kal? And all of a sudden you brought up like Balefire, the sad bracelets, and the fin.
I know.
There's a lot of thankfully chat's bringing up all these other objects of the power that appear in the Shadow Rising. Like some of them are right. The Dream ter'angreal that's easily can fit into the story. You don't really need to like shoehorn it in there. They're gonna do ter'angreal and dreaming and stuff like that. So that's easy to get in there. And the twisted stone door frame, like my thought is they're probably going to just make one trip to the fins, right? Not 2 separate trips.
Yeah, I could see somehow only Matt goes through, even though how does Rand find out about like his questions? How do they get answered?
Maybe one of his stops on the way is to the fins or somebody who gives him information. But I think the reason I picked Callandor and the Choedan Kal is because they kind of they do similar things and serve similar purposes. So I don't know. I think we're only getting one. I hope if we do get one, I hope it's Callandor.
And what would you pick? Sad bracelets.
Oh God.
Balefire. The fin doorway.
Oh geez. Oh man.
Or the Choedan Kal.
Oh my God.
Of those 5 options, if you had to like pick one of them, what would you?
For the show?
Sad bracelets.
Sad bracelets. Sad bracelets. No, they're the number 1 for me.
No,
out of all of those things. The payoff the payoff to the sad bracelets, even though it's abrupt, is by far I think the best payoff of all of those objects.
Really? Not even Callandor at the end?
No, I agree. Like if you just go, oh well, now he just needs the power of love and 2 girls, and then he can heal the whole. Like, okay, fine.
Lewis agrees.
It's. I put it this way: the show has already set up the psychological battle that is the last battle for Rand in the end of season 1. That's more important than the logistics for the show than the logistics of how he seals the boar.
I think I would pick Balefire of all of them.
Balefire is what you forgot here, Gabe. That can be the last option. The Gabe is dumb option.
Balefire. Yeah, Balefire in that option.
So Balefire comes into play at the end too with Taim, right? Is it Taim who's Balefiring everything?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
At the end.
Yes, at the end.
Or is it Dim and Dread?
No, Demodred's he might be doing it too, and then they go. That's why they keep going to fight him.
Yeah,
right. That's why Lan goes to fight him.
Well, that's the whole Egwene, right? That's Egwene's ending. Balefire, Balefire invoked.
But that's Taim. He's got the ter'angreal.
Yeah.
Ooh, the Redstone Doorway is beating out Balefire here. Yeah, Redstone Doorway, man. I mean, yeah.
That's really tough too. I've already kind of, even though I've changed my mind about it, but I spent a long time going like, they may not put the fins in the show and like just do it without it.
Yeah, they could.
I've changed my mind. I think that they're going to be there. But
Callandor.
What if the fin, it is not a Redstone Doorway, it's just under a throne? It's like a doorway under a throne.
I walk into that, Matt, every single time.
You had me with this one. All right, serious question though. So Callandor is in the show. Callandor's in it, right? Callandor's in season 3. We're getting.
I'm not ready. I'm sorry.
Callandor's in season 3. Pull yourself together, man. Callandor is in season 3. We're getting it. I know we talked a little bit about it before, but definitively, its appearance. I'm going to predict it's in Ruidian. And we're saying we're not getting the Choedan Kal. Tom, you talked about going back to Tyr and then him getting it there. Do you think that's, if Callandor's in the show, do you think that's where we
yeah, I love the sword and the stone, and I think
he could pull out the stone in Ruidian.
He could, but I do like I like
the stone. How about the sword and the throne?
Dang it!
I should have had that one. No,
I think that I don't know. I think if you want to introduce another land in season 4, here's your perfect opportunity to do so. You can have the Shido attack a different, like instead of they go south and they go to Tyr, and then that's it. And then you can do all of that and introduce a new culture, right?
Matt, you're going with your underthrown theory, right?
No. Remind me the question. Sorry, I'm in the kind of like picking from 5 things. I feel like that's not the question here.
The question is if
5 choices. Yeah,
if Callandor is in season 3, when do we see it?
When we see it,
or where do we see it? Where is it introduced?
I think if we, so I like, because we're going into that whole like sequence that we think we're going back. That's when I would introduce it there. Like,
that's
right. I still like that as the introduction point for a future use of it. I don't like the idea that they're just gonna like chuck it into Ruidian, like, and he gets it or something, which they definitely could do. But I don't like that idea. I do like that if it's gonna come into season 3, I like the idea that going into the past to see it, because that kind of like sets you up, right?
I like that
okay,
idea.
this thing is so important, right? Okay, so it's a thing that now is the next quest, right? And not only is it the quest, it happens to be right now. It's the whole, again, not going to Kyrie and going to Tyr. Callandor becomes the thing. I like that concept. So that's what I would go for.
I like it being introduced there too, and then at the end he finds it in Ruidian.
And actually finds it there.
Yeah, they set it up, and then it makes sense, because if they're going to put it in a scene where the Aes Sedai are saying, "Here, take these things and to protect them," and then the Aiel go, we see the whole trip of the Dashane and the Aiel and the Jen and all that stuff and how they split. But is it
overpowered? But is it overpowered for that moment? You know what I mean? Like if Rand gets Callandor in that moment, like that's a huge moment. Look what he did in the books. And I'll give Jordan some crap here. Right? It's like the whole book is about him coming to get in Callandor, and like the next book is like, just kidding, I'm leaving it here.
Yeah,
right. you're like, wait, what? And it's like the whole he who comes after thing. Total.
Yeah,
like
fizzle.
Did not pan out. That was just like that was lame.
That was a weak payoff.
So in the same way, it's like you bring it into this moment. Like, what do you do with it? Because it's not something you hold on to and you're just like press a button. Like engage. So like, I mean, it feels like you'd have to do something with it. So what would you say? Like, if they're going to get it, what are they going to do with it?
So let's pull this thread, right? The season ends, he gets Callandor, right?
Mm-hmm.
The next,
it's like right at the end kind of thing. Like
yeah, right at the end. And maybe there's
okay.
a battle with, I don't know, with Asmodean or whatever. That whole thing happens. Or the next season, right? Season 4 is going to be Rand getting captured and Dumais Wells. Pretty sure that would be season 4. So
yeah, I think they're going to. So season 4 is going to be 5 and 6.
So Callandor's with Rand, and he gets kidnapped, and obviously Callandor's left wherever it was.
Well, that's what I mean. Is like Rand is walking around holding Callandor. You know what I mean? Like what is? Well, like Jordan ran into this problem in the books, which is like you might get access to it, but what do you do with it? Like
right, you gotta put it somewhere.
Put it in your like scabbard, and it's just like. He's just caressing the sword as the powers. like I mean, like what do you do with Callandor? Like it's a problem. It's a problem that Jordan solved by slamming back into the ground and leaving it there.
So I mean, when he's captured, it could just be either the Aes Sedai take it with them when he's captured, or he keeps it somewhere else, like locked up safe or something like that, with somebody guarding it. Who knows? Like you said, he's probably not going to carry it around, or who the hell knows? Maybe he will.
But like.
Innkeeper Anna said he thrusts it or tucks it under the throne.
That's it, right under there.
Right under the throne. Puts a little pillow in front of it so nobody sees.
All right.
And then, wait, let me finish. I'm sorry. Just let me finish my thought. So, right, he gets captured. Callandor gets left wherever it is, or the Aes Sedai take it with them. Either way, right? So Rand's basically out of commission for let's say half of season 4, or at least a few episodes. And then when he gets freed, he gets Callandor back, and then shortly after that, the next season, he cleanses the taint with it.
On season 5?
Yeah. Yep. You've only got 4 seasons to finish the series, and you're only up to 6.
I think the taint gets cleansed in season 6, probably the end of season 6. I would guess.
I would say, yeah.
Like
I would give Dumais Wells 5. I would say 5.
I don't think Dumais Wells is 5. I think we're getting that in season 4.
I'll tell you this. Here, I'm gonna go crazy. He doesn't pull Callandor out until he doesn't get it in the next season. How about that? You find out where it is in season 4. He doesn't pull it out till he gets it back
to go cleanse. Maybe okay. So
or he get like and maybe you make that. Maybe it's in tier. I'm just going crazy with this.
He goes
right?
there and that the beginning of season 5, whatever. He goes there to get Callandor with the intention of cleansing the taint with it at the end.
Right.
You can do that.
Yeah. Maybe that's why Samael he can't get at it, and that's why he's in Ilion trying to attack Tyr, is to like he wants that, and like that's his bit. And then like Rand
he's
can get
doing
it.
The Balal bit where he's trying to draw Rand there so Rand can pull it, because he can't pull it. So he's trying to draw Rand there so Rand can pull it, and then he could take it from him.
Yeah, I think to your point, Matt, like it almost makes sense for him not to have it, because it is really cheesy to be like, I have it and here it is, and I'll come get it later. I'll send some guy. You'll think he's important, but he's not going to be important. And then and then like he has it for. And then if you make that like his Choedan Kal-esque thing, he can have it when he's fighting the Shanshin and he goes nutso.
Sure.
Well, then you can have both. Then, you can introduce the Choedan Kal in this season, and then in a later season, you can introduce Callandor.
Wow. I can't believe I don't even know how long we're talking, we actually cycled back to the topic that we were originally supposed to talk about in this episode.
We're back.
And we're back.
And that's the answer. We solved it.
I think we did. I think we solved it. So both are going to be in there. Callandor is just not going to be introduced until a later season. So we won't get Callandor in season 3.
I like a geeky area said Cooladin goes for Callandor in season 3. Rand and company go after him. Ravine or whomever tries to intercept, kills everyone. Rand uses Callandor to balefire everyone back to life.
Like it.
Yes.
It's like a daytime soap opera.
Let's get Callandor, balefire, and throw the Choedan Kal in there somehow. So.
Well, yeah, and then like I said, and John's going to release this video, and He's gonna make it sound like we're all wrong.
We went through a lot of possibilities.
That's true. I think we've covered a lot. Everything. Yeah. So at some point, like, I can take a sound clip out of this episode after John's video comes out and be like, "Hey, we were right."
It's like those guys who just post like 18 different predictions for the Super Bowl, and then when the Super Bowl was over, they just retweet the one that was correct.
Yes,
exactly. Like they called it ahead of time.
It's called hedging your bets. I think since we circled back around, I think this is a perfect time then to end the episode. Since we've gotten there, I don't know if we've come up. I don't know. I don't think we've come up with any solid decisions on what we think is going to happen. Just that a lot of things could happen, and we have thoughts about what we'd like to happen.
Yes, it's an exploration, Joe. We really.
It's a journey. It's about the journey, not the destination, Joe. Okay.
Mm-hmm. It is about the journey. I think it was a great journey too, and I think it's time to end that journey and say goodbye to everybody. I do want to plug something before we go, and before I let you plug Dusty Wheel, Matt. MalkyriCon is September 6th through 8th, which is going to be, I guess, starting the day after this podcast episode drops. In-person tickets are obviously not on sale anymore, but there still are virtual tickets. And they recently just announced 2 additional guests who are going to be there. Rob Goodwin, who was a leather worker who worked on the show, and then also Haley McCready, who is a costume crowd supervisor. Not sure what that means. Get yourself a virtual ticket to MalkyriCon and you'll find out.
Yeah, so. I'm looking for. I can't wait. Just another Prague excuse to travel to Prague.
So you're going to be there?
I'll be there
in person.
Yeah, I'll be there. Yeah.
Oh, so there you go. Are you on any panels?
Oh, I am on. I'm on a meme panel, which let's be honest, I'm not ready for that one, so I need to do some prep on the flight over for that. Okay. And I'm on another panel. I can't remember right at this moment what it is, but
the meme panels are fun. So, and you can then see Matt too on those on some of those panels if you get the virtual ticket. I'll put a link in the show notes. Seeing
some people out there that maybe I don't see out here at the cons around here.
Yeah,
so, that's great.
That sounds cool. Matt, thanks again for coming and filling in for Jen. Anything? What's coming up on the Dusty Wheel? Any good shows coming up soon?
Good question. So I'm taking off for vacation. So I'd have to ask my fellow innkeeper in chat, like, what does he have? What plans does he have coming up? When I get back, I want to do like a dig into season 3, which is like all the information I just don't know, and do one of those kind of breakdowns. So like we've done, I think with Rebecca from Reading the Pattern, John from What Up. I think you guys have done this with us before, but basically just like take episodes and have a whole board of like things we think or know are happening because from the books or and start just kind of like plotting them out to see where we're at. Because I literally, you guys keep on saying stuff and they say stuff in chat and I'm like, yeah, I don't remember that or I didn't know that. So I just need to catch up. So that'll be one of the things I want to do when I get back is just finally catch up to where everyone else is with their season 3 knowledge, because I'm woefully way behind at this point. And so that's what I plan to do when I come back is do some season 3 stuff. And then I don't know after that. I think I've said this to everyone. It's kind of like what I'm feeling, and that's what I'm feeling right now. So after that show, I wouldn't be surprised if I wanted to dig back into some season 2 Landfear stuff. So,
but you ended you began your hiatus with Landfear, right? And
I did, but it's so funny if you go back and watch that live stream, we were pretty like for the first 6 hours, we were pretty good about like dissecting things. Like the last 6 hours was like more like a bunch of my friends came on and I just chatted. And I realized we just got, as the day went on, we just got less and less about like talking about season 2 and more just kind of chatting about like Wheel of Time in general. So there's stuff that I know we didn't cover there that I want to kind of dig back in and talk about.
Awesome. Yeah, we're going to be doing our next week. We're going to start our rewatch of season 2. It's been, can you believe it's been just about a year since season 2 was released? It's like coming up on a year.
That's insane.
Yeah.
It's crazy that it's been that long. I'm looking forward to season 3. Whenever that is, I'm looking forward to kind of whenever they start releasing some news about it, just like diving back into that
early
that part of what's the
2025.
fun, you know.
Early 2025.
That's the fun for me, is really just kind of getting hype around that like news. And then I don't know, a lot of people I haven't gone back to see if we've done any kind of deep dives in a long time, and if there are deep dives that I want to do. It's been a while since I've done a Jordan's Notes kind of thing. So
those are fun.
Like, yeah, it's been a long time. So maybe it'd be fun to bring one back, because people haven't seen those in a long time, because we haven't done one in a very long time. So it might be fun to just kind of go back and see if there's anything of interest that we haven't covered there for fans. So yeah, I don't know. We'll do some things, but I guess just be on the lookout. Follow us on the channel. Or by the way, did you guys hit your 1,000 subscribers?
No, we didn't.
No.
Actually, we're close.
What is happening? So people are listening. Come on, like, am I subscribed? Let me go see. Okay.
We're at like 990 something. We're close. So so we're hitting our almost 1,000 followers on YouTube. I know we're not like big on YouTube, but people watch the episodes. There's a decent amount of people who watch the episodes.
My
on YouTube.
personal account was not following you, so my personal account is following.
Oh,
you.
There you go. Now we've got another one, and we're coming upon.
I'm going to be embarrassed if you're not
following yourself.
The Dusty Wheel account has to be following you.
I thought you were going to say you're going to be embarrassed if your personal account wasn't following the Dusty Wheel.
No.
That would be embarrassing.
Okay, we are following. Dusty Wheel is following you, which I figured was the case. So you're at 993 people. Come on,
all right,
make it 1,000.
Cough it up.
Go ahead.
We're coming up on our 5th anniversary
as well.
Oh my
you
goodness!
Just had your 5th anniversary. We're coming up on ours next week.
So let's get to 1,000 before then.
We're so old.
We are old.
That's 5th anniversary. Like
this is our 254th episode, which is insane.
We are crazy.
Yeah. So I will put links to the Dusty Wheels YouTube page and social media in the description too. So go check that out. Follow it so you know when the new shows are coming out. You don't want to miss any of them. I will also remind everyone to follow us on social media. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Join us over in Discord to continue the conversation there. We also post our episodes on YouTube, which we just mentioned. So be sure to go there and like and subscribe. Rate and review us wherever you listen to podcasts, and check out our merchandise and Patreon pages to support us that way. Links to all the aforementioned information are included in the show notes to this episode. Final thoughts, Tom?
Happy Labor Day, everybody.
Happy Labor Day. Matt, you want to say any final words?
Mierin in the Age of Legends.
There we go. And Jen will be back with us next week, along with our friend Brendan, to rewatch season 2 of The Wheel of Time. So
does Jen have any final words for us?
Yeah, Jen does have final words. She left a message for everybody.
I have perfect beat.
There you go.
Fine.
That's
we're gonna find out if that's true. We're gonna find out. Please record the 3, 2, 1 or 1, 2, 3 clap for us, please.
She has perfect beat, so can't deny that. Thanks everyone for listening, and you'll hear us next time.